and welcome to Once Upon a Storybook. My name is Cynthia with Cynthia's Joyful Creations, and I am excited about sharing another angel story with you from the book In the Arms of Angels by Joan Wester Anderson. Today's story is entitled Terry's Dolls. I have found that if you love life, life loves you back. Author Rubenstein. One of the delightful surprises of the angel renaissance of the 1990s was the craftspeople and entrepreneurs who unexpectedly benefited. Since an increasing number of people wanted to start collections of angels, or at least hang a picture or two, little shops sprang up and talented artisans created merchandise for others to buy. By 1996, more than 200 angel stores had opened, not including those on the web. Some of the creations were a bit over the top. An occasional customer purchased cherub shower curtains just to be part of a trend. But beneath the surface, it was obvious that people were learning to love angels and the reassurance they brought. Terry Dorkins was one of these. The daughter of a military man, her family moved often, and she continued the tradition when she married a soldier during the Vietnam War. Terry worked at the Pentagon and later for NASA. Eventually, her family landed in Durham, North Carolina, where she started her own business of creating computer graphics for a corporate clientele. She also developed a serious lung illness, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which was complicated by pulmonary hypertension. I kept going, she points out, because there really wasn't any other choice. For various reasons, her financial situation was shaky. By December 1998, her illness had intensified. It became so difficult to move and to breathe that she found it all but impossible to get from the handicapped parking space in front of her office to the front door. I had to give up my clients. I had always been productive and active, and this was terribly depressing. I have a little office in our home, so I would sit there and pray. What was going to happen with my health? And if I was this sick, how was I going to earn any money? As she prepared for Christmas that year, Terry unearthed a porcelain tree topper angel she had purchased at Walmart several years before. Originally, the angel had worn white satin and had quilted golden wings. Over the years, Terry added a halo, a locket, and even a little bag holding a gratitude list of blessings she had received. After Christmas that year, instead of packing her away, I moved her to my home office. That's when angels began to take over my life. One day, Terry was at her desk praying for solutions to her numerous problems. She looked up at the angel on top of the filing cabinet. She was under the glow of a torchlight lamp, and she looked kind of radiant. She also looked a little worn, as if she too needed some tender loving care. I should remake her, Terry thought, and at once she realized what a silly thought it was. Despite her accomplishment in other fields, Terry could barely thread a needle. She had never done any sewing, not even hems or button replacements, and had fallen short when trying other crafts. And what did this have to do with her current dilemma anyway? Shouldn't she be trying to solve them? Maybe. She decided to spend a little time with the angel first, and when she had redesigned the gown and replaced the quilted wings with real feathers, Terry was astonished. I put her back on the filing cabinet, and she was beautiful. I was so pleased. It occurred to me that maybe I could make angels for other people. Terry found a professional doll maker on the internet. This woman put Terry in touch with a doll maker in her own area. Both were happy to teach and advise her, especially about working with porcelain. To pay for her lessons and supplies, Terry began selling one-of-a-kind angel tree toppers to selected friends and family. And one day she put up a website displaying the dolls, and she traveled around the internet visiting similar sites. She came across a guest book entry from a woman named Joanna. I emailed her and invited her to visit my site, and as time passed, we became good internet friends. This was all interesting, and Terry was feeling a bit stronger emotionally as a result of the encouragement her new internet friends were providing. But the bills remained, and so did her lung condition. What should she do? One autumn day in 1999, Joanna emailed Terry. Would Terry make a special angel in memory of Joanna's granddaughter, Samantha, who had recently died of a chronic illness? It was a difficult assignment. There was so much emotion involved, and this was Terry's first attempt to please a real customer. She worked as hard as she knew how. The results were exquisite, and Joanna was very pleased. But Terry couldn't get Samantha out of her mind. The little girl had been a patient at Duke University Hospital, just a 10-minute drive from Terry's house. I thought about how many Christmases she had been in the ICU, and I wondered about the other kids there. Would receiving an angel make their Christmases better? It was not difficult to find out how many children would spend the holidays in intensive care this year. Terry explained her idea to the hospital's children coordinator, and the woman immediately asked for $30. 30? Terry hadn't expected that many, but she went home and started sewing. 30, 40, 50. She felt compelled to make more. Just a few days before Christmas, the coordinator phoned and said there was going to be 70 children in the intensive care over Christmas. I had made 72 dolls, and I brought them all. As it turned out, there was not 70 small patients in intensive care that year. There were 72. Every child received an angel, even the preemies. Each had one tucked over the miniature beds, watching over them in true angel fashion. All these dolls had been done at Terry's expense, and money continued to be tight. Terry knew she couldn't find a job that she could do from home. But she had a job, didn't she? Although God sometimes seems far away, Terry sensed that making angels was her calling, at least for now. Slowly, orders started to come. In addition to selling her angels, Terry continued to make ones to donate to the children at Duke, at least 60 each year. She told very few people about this venture, preferring to remain anonymous and let the angels themselves be the focus. It was an up and down time for her. My lung situation got worse, but I was making friends with almost everyone who ordered from the website. Even though I never met them, they became a prayer community for me. Their friendship gave me such strength. I was helped especially by Joanna, who had purchased the very first doll. Every day was a new venture, a gift that she used with enormous gratitude. Oddly, every doll she made seemed more beautiful than the one before it. Who would have thought this non-creative person could design and make such items? I have to believe it was God who put me in the angel business, she says, but God wasn't finished yet. In January of 2003, Terry learned that she would need a lung transplant. Doctors projected that even with a transplant, she might only live 5 years at best. And there was another unanticipated problem. When you prepare to be placed on the transplant list, you're told that you'll probably need several blood transfusions during the surgery. Terry says, in many cases, it's the patient's responsibility to provide much of this blood. But my blood type is unusual, A negative. I contacted everyone in my extended family and learned that there was not one potential donor among them. Only my deceased mother had my type. And because of this, Terry could be dropped from the list. So close and yet so very far. Terry went back to her home office and gazed at her angel, still atop the filing cabinet. God had brought her through so much since the day she had repaired that little figure. She would not doubt him now. She turned on her computer and told some of her internet friends who already knew of the impending surgery about the blood problem. That evening, Terry received an email. My daughter and I are both A negative. We would be glad to donate blood for you. Terry looked at the return address and got goosebumps. It was from Joanna, her first customer, her prayer partner, someone she would have never met had she not started making dolls. In March of 2003, Terry met with the Duke transplant director. By now, her entire email list and all of their intercessors were praying for her. As she entered the office, she felt surrounded by love, comfort, and angels, of course. There was a surprise in store. Some things Some things seem to have changed, the doctor told her. You do not need a transplant, at least not now, and your heart is quite stable. We think medication will be the best course for you. Terry gasped. Had she been given a healing? Yes and no. There is no cure for her condition. But now that I know I'll be sticking around for a while, I can see myself working on my angels, even launching a new line of heirloom angels. She has no time to worry. There is work and loving to be done. One cannot outgive God. Was Terry's generosity to others a cause of her own renewed health? It cannot be known. We can only wish her joy and watch to see what the angels do next. Well, thank you for joining me for that story. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, be joyful, my friends, and I will see you soon. Bye.